So during the most recent State of the Union address, something unsettled me. It wasn't policy, it wasn't a party, it wasn't even a particular line. It was that what we applauded for and what we didn't. When did we stop calling evil evil? I'm not here to critique a president. I'm not here to defend one. And this is not about red or blue. It's about something deeper. It's about whether we even recognize moral categories anymore. Because what stuck with me a couple of nights ago wasn't disagreement. It was how quickly moral issues were reduced to applause lines. Not, is this right? Not, is this wrong? Just, did my side clap? Friends, that's not discernment. That's tribalism. And tribalism has replaced moral clarity. Isaiah 5:20 says this, woe to those who call evil good and good evil. Man, we're seeing that today. That wasn't written to a political party. It was written to people who had lost their moral bearings. They didn't lose them overnight. They drifted slowly, quietly, comfortably. And if we're honest, that drift feels very familiar. So at the State of the Union, issues were discussed that touch on the fabric of human life, family, truth, authority, law, freedom, and life itself. And instead of wrestling with the moral weight of those things, we responded like it was a sporting event. Cheer, sit, cheer, sit. But here's the question that keeps pressing on me. Have we stopped asking whether something is good in the eyes of God? Or do we only ask whether it benefits our team or our side? Because those are not the same questions. Romans 1 says that when truth is exchanged for a lie, something happens. It's not just behavior that changes. Our discernment erodes. The ability to recognize what is disordered weakens. And when that happens, evil doesn't feel shocking anymore. It feels normal, expected, even sometimes necessary. Evil rarely announces itself. It rebrands itself. It softens its language. It reframes its intent. It attaches itself to words like compassion or progress, freedom, justice. And sometimes those words are good, but sometimes they're just simply a mask. And if we're not anchored to something higher than culture, we won't know the difference. This isn't really about one speech. It's about a pattern. And we've talked about it in previous episodes. We celebrate what's popular. We defend what's convenient. And we excuse what aligns with us. And then we condemn what threatens us. It's not righteousness. That's just preference, comfort. Preference is not a moral compass. Let me make this a little more personal. Before we point outward, we have to point inward. So where have I softened what God calls sin? I have to ask myself that question. Where have I avoided clarity because it might cost me? Where have I refined obedience and made it tolerance? Because this isn't just happening in Washington, D.C. It's happening in our churches. It's happening in our living rooms. It's happening in our own hearts. We don't lose discernment in a moment of rebellion. It's lost in a season of comfort. Western Christianity is full of comfort. And here's what burdens me the most. We don't even blush anymore. What once would have made us pause or even stop immediately now barely even registers. Look, I work for Covenant Eyes, a tech company that helps Christians find freedom from pornography. Explicit content, it's everywhere. I don't have to tell you that. It used to be hidden, secret. Now it's readily available just about everywhere. You used to have to search for it. Now it finds you. It's no longer morally offensive. And when moral conviction disappears, everything becomes negotiable. Everything. But there's hope. Discernment can return. Conviction can return. Clarity can return. But only if we're willing to say again, right is right and wrong is wrong. Not because a party said so, not because culture says so, but because God has spoken through his word. 1 Thessalonians 5:21 says, test everything. Hold fast to what is good. That assumes something. It assumes that we're testing, not absorbing, not reacting, not applauding automatically. We're testing, we're measuring, we're weighing through Scripture. So here's my question to you and to me. Have we stopped calling evil, evil? And if we have, are we willing to reclaim moral courage? Not anger, not outrage, courage. Courage to stand with conviction. The courage to speak with grace. The courage to disagree without hatred. The courage to align with truth, even when it's costly. Because if we lose the ability to call evil, evil, we don't just lose arguments. We lose our witness. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Where have you seen moral confusion lately? Not politically, culturally, spiritually. Drop it in the comments. Let's wrestle with it together. I hope this helps. Thanks for joining me on Truth Behind the Mic. And by the way, for those of you following, our little new welcome visitor to Behind the Mic and to our family is sleeping on the couch over there. She gets to do whatever she wants. We've had her less than a week now. And if you haven't seen the video, it was a short that I did introducing Tessa, who was a rescue. And we got her through Hand Me Down Dobes in Columbus, Ohio. Great organization. If you're looking for a Doberman, check them out. Thank you all for watching. And let's think about how we're calling evil evil. Are we doing it? Or are we allowing culture to determine what's morally correct? We'll see you next time on Truth Behind the Mic.